It is a big day in the association. This is always a fun day every year. This is the day we find out where George Hill and Valanciunas are headed for the rest of the year. We see, what kind of headline name goes to a team fighting for, the 6 through 8 seed in either conference. Seems to happen every year. We see moves that make us go, ooh, that could work. I could see him being a good fit with the core that's there. That's a good move. Team made a really good move, and it's pretty much just solely uh, on paper. But then we also see moves that people do that Tom Cruise meme, the what? And it's so funny every year because I don't remember, and maybe you as the listeners can help me. Welcome to the social spreader on an NBA trade deadline Thursday. It is Thursday. Weird week. This week has went by really fast, but maybe you guys can help me. Was there ever a trade move at this time at the deadline any year that made some sort of a monumental change for the direction of a team? Has that ever like truly happened to where it's manifested in either like a conference finals, an NBA finals, or even a championship? Because I'm trying to think, and I don't really know if there is one. That's always interesting. It's always news. It's always fun to do the trading. I think all of us who've ever played any video game growing up, we always try to stack a team. We always try to trade a team. I was never a huge like create a player guy. I just kind of felt like that was too easy. I always had more fun putting on like the manager hat or the GM hat and trying to trade and make moves and pretty much in any game, but that was always the fun part for me. I never played Madden. And so just because I was a college football fan, that game and the fact that it's no longer even available, I have some. Maybe one day I can actually whip them out and show you. But the most fun that I had in a in a video game that had to do with sports, aside from FIFA, um, recruiting in a college football game or a college hoops game was always so much fun for me. It was always a joy to go after. You know how like they would have like the number one player, whether or not you're on like their top three list or anything like that. I always thought that was so much fun to go after them and I always turn them. And I was always Oregon, obviously, because if you listen to the show, if you're one of the millions of people who do, you know that Oregon kind of took my heart when they took my wallet in 2003. Sorry, they filled my wallet in 2003. You know what? Let's reverse that. Let's do that again. Oregon filled my heart when they filled my wallet in 2003. Um, and so anyway, it's always fun to see, ooh, could he work, yada yada. And I think it's hilarious that I'm wearing this shirt here, and Christoph Porzingis is now on the Wizards. Is that his third team now in 3 years? Um, so I don't know what I'm doing with this shirt. Then I mean, I got it for Luca. And wow, for those of you that are listening on an audio only medium, I truly do apologize as this is horrible radio. I'm wearing a shirt that's an NBA Jam shirt with Luca and Kristoff. And Kristoff got traded today to the Wizards. And so is this now an antique shirt? Anyway, but let's actually talk about the hugest trade of the day. And of course, what I'm talking about is Paul Millsap going to the Sixers. Um, I mean this as someone who's really good at basketball and has always been very very good. From a basketball perspective, I think him playing alongside Joel Embiid could be huge. It is a outer mid-range threat that you have to respect, or he can, drop 25 in a heartbeat. And with all of the attention going towards Joel, not necessarily to kick out for a three, but to kick out to anybody who's crashing to give someone else the opportunity in the post. And let's not mince words. Paul Millsap has been a talented scorer in and around the lane his entire career. And I think this is a very, very good running mate for Joel Embiid. I know that's probably not what you were thinking, but seriously, you can't make this shit up. A player who won't pass, a player who won't shoot are traded for each other. Look, I don't know if Harden showed who he truly is as a player when he was with Houston. I think a lot of me thinks that he did. That when it comes to one-on-one scoring, there is nobody better ever, ever. Um, but that won't win even at its prime, even though he should never have won that MVP because that year LeBron had more points, assists, rebounds, and played more games. Um, I don't know. I know that he is now with someone who, when I say is a large superstar, I mean he's huge. I don't think he'll be able to get away with a lot of singular ISO shit with Joel Embiid. And I think Joel, because of his stature, because of how large physically that he is, he can walk up to anybody and tell them whatever he wants to. And I think he will do that if James comes to it. But I think Harris, I think Harden, and I think Joel. I mean, look, I know that Harden has shown a lot of flashes of being very good distributing the ball when he wants to. I think I saw, isn't his all-time record for assists in a game like 16 or something like that? Like it's something ridiculous. And if he can do that with the Sixers team, look, I mean Harris and Joel are an assist man's dream. And so yeah, I want to say that it can work. I think this is one of those where we're looking at it saying, "Ooh, that could work." You know, if the chemistry's right, yada yada yada. But on the flip side, I think if Durant and Kyrie are healthy, I think Simmons is the perfect add-on to that team because he's going to do all the things that the other guys don't want to do, and so he's gonna play. You can put him against the number one guy on the other team. Very good on the defensive end. Um, he's long. He's rangy. He doesn't necessarily need to score to be an extremely effective player. As much as I perhaps may have joined in how he was shooting, I'm a shooter, and so I always think I can shoot myself out of a slump. And so when he was having a slump and it turned into a slope, um, you know, I think it's sad the way that it was portrayed on him in terms of him not being able to do anything at all. Um, but I do think for what he can do aside from scoring, what other team would you rather be on than with two guys who can score? And so, we'll see. It's always a matter of chemistry and whether or not it'll work. But I just find it hilarious that you really can't make this shit up. Because if someone were to say, hey, they're going to do a straight up trade for Harden and Simmons, who hasn't played, and that's another thing. Is Simmons playing? I mean, I've read a couple of reports. I've heard some things that sure he is. I mean, I doubt they would have made the trade without him. But is he playing? Is he playing? Um, and so we'll see. I think it'll work. Speaking of something that's been working, let's do some lines when it comes to the leans and fades list. I'm up. I say weeks. I'm hoping to help everybody out. I'm up now 10 units over the last week and a half or so, in regard to finding the teams that are very good against the spread and finding the teams that are not. There's a lot of action tonight with a lot of teams that are. And so I'm just going to do what I did the other day, and I'm going to list off some teams that I'm thinking, I don't know if I've used this whole list. You know what? We're going to go fade list. I'm going to give you 10 teams right now that are horrible against the spread. And hopefully, you can fade them as they are a fade, and hopefully that can somehow make you some money. So ATS, all right. Houston Baptist 5-11 ATS. Alabama A&M 6-12-1 ATS. Pacific 4-16 ATS. I believe I've shared all of those. I might be at a point where I've shared all these with you. Georgia State, they're 4-11 ATS. We've got, I told you about Georgia. I told you about Alabama, Wright State. Northern Kentucky is now the hottest team in the country. UC Santa Barbara, they are 4-10 ATS. And I believe I've given you all of them. You're welcome. I hope you guys, I have given you pretty much everybody that's on my list. Sacred Heart, they are 7-13 ATS. Arkansas Little Rock, 6-11. I believe that's all of them. I do believe that over the last week and a half or so, I've went through all 60 teams that are on my leans list and on the fades list as well. It's a it's a theory. It's an approach. It's something other than firing things against the wall. Whenever I find some kind of an edge, I do research to support that edge. That's all that we're trying to do here. That's all that I'm doing here. That's gotten me up 10 units is I look at teams that are on my leans list or my fades list. I find them on the schedule. I do research on the matchup. I do research on the teams. I do research on the place within the schedule. Or is this a first game of maybe a back-to-back? Sometimes two teams play each other, off nights. They play it on the third night, so maybe they play each other on a Monday. Now they're playing on a Thursday. I do all that stuff. I also do head-to-head. Sometimes another team, regardless of how good they are, just has your number. They just have your number. And there's nothing you can really do about it. They match up with you well physically. They know your style. They play to your weaknesses, and they do it well. And so I always do research. I never just shoot off the hip. And if it's a favorable leading, a favorable matchup, then we do it. And so hopefully that's what you're doing, because as much as a lot of it is coming down to a coin flip, I would not recommend doing an actual coin flip, because we're talking about coin here. Not only could I put some money in your pocket, unfortunately, just like the stock market, just like everything else, there's risk. And I want you to minimize that risk. And what I'm trying to do, and what I think this list offers, is another minimization of that risk, because you've got a team that sucks against the spread. Well, now that's in your favor if you're going to fade them. We got a team that's really good. They've been playing really well. They've covered. Great teams win. Good teams cover. Maybe they cover a lot, like Middle Tennessee State. Unbelievable this year against the spread. UAB, unbelievable against the spread this year. And that's what they do. And so if the research supports it and you think it as well, you've done what you need to do to make some sort of educated decision on where you put your hard-earned money, trying to make more of it and put a little extra coin in your pocket. Again, all we're trying to do here, then I hope I can help. And so far, the last week and a half, I'm up 10 units. Are you up more than that? And whoever you are, I'd love to collaborate with you. I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to learn more. I think I'm doing okay. I'm a professional sports gambler. That's my occupation. And so I would love to learn more. If you're higher than 10 units over a week, if you're doing well, reach out to me, thesocialspreader@gmail.com. Find me on Instagram. Would love to talk. Would love to collaborate. I want to try to create a community of people that can kind of turn the tables against the tables, turn the tables against the casino, because the house always wins. And so we're trying to minimize, maximize all of the above to our favor. That's all we're trying to do here. So good luck with your bets. Lots of good games in the association here tonight. Not sure what I'm going to do with this shirt, as Kristaps Porzingis is no longer on the Mavericks. Again, perfect radio telling you what a shirt looks like. Good luck with your bets. Jesus.